Welcome to our Rolemaster actual play session. Twilight of the Old Order is a campaign set in the world of Duranarki, the continent of men. In this gritty, cutthroat world, politics, religion, and commerce are all intertwined and reign supreme. Characters need to be both smart and ruthless to survive. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favor. This is episode 105 of Twilight of the Old Order. The Twilight Party have arrived in the free city of Jebi Retana and are planning their next move. We pick up the story as the party are in deep conversation with Jaasir al-Hafeez, the chair of the Solar Council and one of the most powerful people in all of Jebi Retana, from whom they are hoping to learn vital information and provide aid for their quest. Hello, I'm Chris, otherwise known as GM Chance, and welcome to our story. And that story is Twilight of the Old Order. These are the 6 characters that will entertain and delight you this evening. In a second or so, I'm going to ask each of the players of those characters to introduce the players they're playing tonight, and then answer a character development question. 2 things very fast before I do. Just a huge shout out to our supporters, our followers, and our subscribers online. Thank you for your support, your kind words, and just generally your enthusiasm. For anybody that's watching this and you're getting something out of it, you find yourself laughing, you learn something, you're just enjoying the story, the characters, the people involved, we would love a click down below, either a like or even better, a subscribe. Thanks very much. Secondly, to note, this is episode 105. Crikey. 105 episodes. We have been playing for a long time, since middle of the way through 2019, as a matter of fact. However, we only started recording these sessions comparatively recently, beginning of the year or thereabouts, in beginning of the year of 2023. So there's a lot that's gone on behind a lot of the story, the main, some of the character arcs, some of the other things that isn't encapsulated in these videos. A couple of links again in the description of this video below to help bring you up to speed for people that are interested in learning more. Firstly, there's a 5-minute, very short video, which very quickly provides a précis of the main theme in the story, the main threat, I guess, of what these characters are up against. There's also an accompanying PDF document, lots of pictures, limited amounts of words, but a really easy read to just bring people up to speed to it, a slightly longer document. For those that just want to learn more and kind of pick up on a bit more of the nuance of the tale that we're telling, check out those 2 links down below in the description of this video. Right. The moment you've all been waiting for, that I've been waiting for, the opportunity to hear from the stars of the show, the people that are playing these characters. And I'd like, first of all, to ask Pete to kick us off.
Yeah, I'm Pete, and I'll be playing Nicholas tonight. So Nicholas is a common man. He is a quiet and unassuming sort of academic type person. Started to be a little bit more handy with a sword, but only for defensive reasons. He's a mentat by profession, which means he's a spell user of mentalist spells. The question I'll be answering about him is, can he show weakness, or feels he can show weakness in front of the party? Definitely, absolutely. He knows he's not a particularly physical person. He doesn't particularly. He does value it in other people, but he doesn't value it himself. He doesn't sort of, physical prowess. So he's more than happy to ask other people to help him or to cower behind more physically strong members of the party, which he does Yeah, like he did recently in that street fight. He was quite happy to just back away and let everyone else do the fighting for him. He's got no shame. He knows he's strong in other ways is and can get his own back.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's Nicholas. Can I please pass over to Graham?
Graham.
Certainly. Hello. I play two characters in this game. The first of whom is Severin Kaidegard. He is a swordsman, very skilled with a blade, and bulky sort of chap, extremely strong. And has trained his whole life, really, in his art with a sword. He's been very single-minded in that regard. He's a very charming fellow, pretty good-natured. In terms of a question, how do you cope when a party takes someone in the party, or where the party takes a path you don't support? Probably quite vocal. When our adventure began, they had a few people in the party who were very different. At one point, memorably, he had one of them by the throat when they started stealing things in the open market, and then kind of got the rest of the party in trouble. And he was very unimpressed by that. And another instance where another member of the party at the time just killed someone in the street for no real good reason, at which point he actually sort of just backed away and said, I'm through with this. It just was against his beliefs. Nonetheless, he still got thrown into jail and was branded by association, so he wasn't very impressed. But yes, he moans, he lectures. That would be his approach. He can be a bit of a moaner and is quite vocal. My other character tonight is Tenya Anastasia. She is a elf and she is a hunter, very skilled with a bow. A little difficult personality, shall we say, but nonetheless very loyal. And Dame, same question. Yep, you'll hear from her. She doesn't like something. She's quite sarky, and she's like, she'll go along with it, but she'll make the odd snarky comment when it's something she doesn't quite want to do. But on the other hand, she falls pretty much into line. She's sort of used to this by now, and they've got a higher purpose. She understands that, and she goes along with it.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
I will hand over to, I think it better be Anthony.
Yes, kia ora everyone. Tonight I'm actually looking after 3 characters.
Count them. 1, 2, 3. This guy's a pro.
Yeah. So we'll start with Askel, or Askel for short. He's my character. So he's a tall half-elf warrior mage. He comes from the port city of Jebi, and according to his favourite weapon is his newly acquired ornate cutlass. So he's finding it quite challenging and bluffing in Jebi Retana at the moment, because he's not a strong believer of the faith, but he's learning to adapt in his time there. So his question he's going to answer is which party member has taught him the most, and that he feels it's Severin from his previous time working as a sword for hire, but also since they've been in Jebi Retana, just around his negotiation diplomacy on several occasions already with his wonderful babelfish. Also tonight I am playing Jada, who I've looked after previously on a few occasions. She's obviously a very tall and beautiful human Arab woman. She's a lay healer, and at some point she's talked about very keen to hypnotise someone. So Tara hasn't mentioned that for a while, so we'll see if she remembers when she listens back to this. And definitely it's don't leave home without a healer, but haven't had need too much of Jada currently in Jebi Retana.
She did save Ali Sultan's life with her healing.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Just one person as opposed to the party, which she said to do previously. So, question: did she feel she can show weakness in front of the party? Yeah, definitely yes. As a lay healer, she's obviously can sense and feel hurt in others, so she's obviously has to be quite open to it herself as well. Even though she can be a a bit quiet as well. And then lastly, I am playing Ray on behalf of Aiden, who might be back next session. So Aiden's a silent, rugged, muscular half-elf beastmaster who's very in tune with the wild, loves his large axe, and loves to flex his pecs to deter any would-be attackers.
Death
Speaking
by
of that,
nipple.
yeah. Speaking of that, can he show weakness in the party? Yeah, most definitely not. Not with all those muscles. Yeah, he'd be somewhat staunch, I think. But you may see him in and around animals, which he'll be somewhat protective, and his familiar Ningwing as well. He'd probably be quite caring for that. So that'd be his side weakness. Yeah, but that's great.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed. Well met all, well introduced. Fantastic, thank you. Okay, could I ask for the players assembled to provide a very brief update of what happened last session, please? Don't be shy.
I guess what we spent the first part of the session just confirming our purchases. Basically, we went on shopping sprees, I think, and yeah, that's from my memory. And then we got into our very fine clothing that we'd purchased, and we went and paid another hopeful visit to the Chamberlain, Omar bin Ali, and through some very skilled talking, I think, by Severin, secured an audience with him, and with more skilled talking, secured an audience with Jaasir al-Hafeez, essentially the ruler of this city. So we were very, very lucky there. I think she seemed to take her time taking stock of us and confirming our identities. And I think the last piece of quite interesting information she left us with was that Torvash Papillus, so the guy from the Hammer of the New Age faction of the Empire of Terang, had been to Taraknev and had returned to Landania, which was very interesting. Seemed to be in a bit of a state. So our plan was to go to Taraknev to intercept him, but obviously that's been done, so perhaps a bit of relief for us. Anyone else? What did I miss?
I don't think that's right.
I'm just going to ask on behalf of our viewers that may be coming into this. Pete, why are you wanting to speak to Jaasir al-Hafeez particularly, and who do you... just maybe frame up that, and basically what is your intended purpose of speaking with her, perhaps?
True. Well, it sort of seems to have gone by the by now with that information of Torvash Papillus having returned from Taraknev. Our initial purpose was to connect with her to see if, because she is a part of this very secret organisation, the Mon Men, who are dedicated to working against the Empire of Terang. So, she's an ally, potentially. We were hoping she was going to fund or help us put together an expedition to Taraknev to intercept Torvash Papillus, who's working on one way of ending the world as we know it. So that was what we were hoping she was going to help us with. If he's now returned, we don't need to make the expedition, but I'm sure we'll look for help from her to perhaps connect with this guy before he makes any further plans or slips away, probably back to the Empire of Terang.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you very much. Well told, Pete. Very well told. Any comments? Any questions? Anything that anybody else would like to add? Oh, okay. So, one quick comment from me just before we begin, or one point of kind of qualification, or just a bit more background information. Today is the 22nd of moons, the 11th month out of a 12-month calendar. Yesterday, which was the 21st of moons, Captain Farhad of the City Watch connected you up with your ingots, which you had got from your travels elsewhere in the in-between, and provided you with them, and had confirmed that, yes, indeed, Askel appears to be who Askel is, and Askel appears to have... Askel mentioned some connection back where he's from in Shabibi, and that story appears to have checked out. So that was yesterday that you got that information, and indeed your ingots. You also collected your very fancy clothes yesterday. Today, on the 22nd, you've gone, as you've said, Pete, to go to the painted house, this palace that Jaasir al-Hafeez rules, or certainly rules the Solar Council from. Certainly, it's her home in the city, and you found it a challenging place to get into, although you had a lot of luck and some good talking from Severin last time. Seriously, Graham, there were a couple of dice rolls there that were nail biting for you. They were definitely nail biting for the GM. So nice work. So that's today. It's the 22nd. Nice sunny weather. There's another thing that today is as well, and that is it's Cold Moon's Eve. So tomorrow is the 23rd of moons, which means it is the festival of cold moons. And this is a particularly, and I've mentioned this previously, this is a particularly inauspicious, unpleasant, unsavory date in the calendar. So the festival of cold moons, most people consider this day, which the elves call Chayokimas, to be a dire one of ill omens and evil spirits. Any kind of somber and quiet festivals which are held each year on this night tend to be full of rituals to ward away evil and to think about lost loved ones and to appreciate one's living family and friends. It's often a very quiet, somber time, and it's definitely a time of prophecies and ill omens, and just the Festival of Cold Moons is not a good day. It's not a lucky day. It's not a happy day. Many businesses close. It's a day of perceived ill fortune and evil, people might say. Now, not in all beliefs, but those that have come from the heritage of the old gods, with the exception of the elves, and I'll come to the elves in a second. The high men, the Erebor, the high Arabs, and then most of the lands that they have ruled over, much of the known world would relate to this calendar and these festivals. Probably parts that don't would be the Confederation of the San Kush, and various kind of weird, strange nations to the south and the southern seas. But a lot of the known world would know and understand the Festival of the Cold Moons, which is tomorrow, and it's an ill-fated day. People, as a result, are quite twitchy and quite, you've noticed, and this is what I meant to mention last time. You've noticed on your walk here to the painted house, a lot of people are quite downcast. They kind of shuffle along the street, even though it's Cold Moon's Eve. People are just, you've seen some people arguing in the street, and just tensions are a bit heightened, would be a way to describe it. The elves do view it slightly differently, even though they do believe, along with the Arabs and the high men and various others, they believe in this festival. They view it in a slightly different way. They actually see it, for various ancient reasons, view it as more a time of rejuvenation and rebirth. Not quite good omens, but not necessarily bad ones. They'll also have kind of festivals in elven homes and places, in their holy places. Joy is maybe... The description that I sent you is one of joy, perhaps, for elves. Maybe not joy, perhaps. Maybe not quite to that degree, but definitely they view it... They view the Festival of the Cold... Cold Moons a lot more... favourably, perhaps, than others do. So just as a little tidbit, that's happening today. Something I meant to mention last time that didn't. Just before I click, let's start the game, and we're into the game. Any follow-up questions or anything else I need to know? Going once, going twice. Cool. Let's start the game. So yes, indeed, you are here. You are in the beautiful gardens of the chair of the Solar Council, Jaasir al-Hafeez. It is just you and the 6 characters. You're alone with her. You're on a canopy, so you're out of the blazing hot sun. Still quite humid, quite sticky, although there is a bit of a breeze that you can hear with the wind chimes going in the background there. The very distant sounds of the city and the bazaar are in the background, but what's a lot more prominent, as you can hear, is the sound of running water and the sound of birds in this beautiful and very, very large garden in the painted house, a secluded garden from where you first entered. There are a number of people keeping a very close watch on the conversation that you're having with this woman. You'll see those 2 women either side of Jaasir. They have stepped well and truly away of the central dais in the middle of effectively a pond in the middle of her garden, and they're off to the side, well and truly out of earshot. There's no one that can hear you. There are also a large number of soldiers around, armed with a selection of crossbows and spears and other things, on the inner wall and patrolling these gardens as well. Jaasir is clearly very well protected. Her chamberlain, Omar, is also, this gentleman here, is also standing off to one side. Again, well and truly out of earshot. You'll recall from last session, Jaasir asked you quite a few questions. She spent some time looking at this ring on her finger, which changed colour, and she ultimately said, where we left it last session, was, to paraphrase quickly, that she doesn't know you, but she had received descriptions from her friend Ningwen of you, and she had read dispatches of a number of your exploits. And she'd asked you it had taken, probably, I'm going to say, a good hour or so for her to go through in a fine tooth comb your stories of how the spy mistress Twilight Gorn was slain, what happened in Narth, and various other things that have happened on your travels. And where we got to last time was she was just pausing. So she had just said, just before I begin more of what Jaasir is saying, any actions, any reactions, anything that characters should be doing, want to do, whatever.
Questions, certainly, but only when she's finished.
Okay, sure thing. Nothing else? Okay. Okay. So she goes on with her tale. She says as follows, and I'm just going over a little of what I touched on last time, but just to kind of join the 2 sessions up. So, and she speaks in this this very strange, heavily accented Westron. I must start putting more accents into my game, but maybe now is not quite the time. We have a very competent network of eyes in the Sea of Cantana. Many, many eyes. This is our home, after all, so of anywhere in the world, we're probably the most informed here. And 8 weeks ago, on the 17th of Toil, a man that we have identified as Tovash Papilius, and what remains of an expedition, 15, 20 or so people, was seen in the free city of Landania, that mosquito-ridden, dreary, sticky city far to the south, bordering the Alameg, the green festa, the great swamp. Apparently they had just returned from some venture into the Ally Meg, Green Festa, and appeared to be in very bad shape. A number of them were very badly injured, and indeed spies report back to us that several did not live long. We were aware of Papillus and had heard of him before he went, so he was of great interest to us. And as soon as he was spotted yet again in Landania, because he had been there some weeks before, we made sure to put as much attention with our most skilled eyes on him. He was very, very cautious, as you would imagine. But we got lucky. And it's that piece of luck that I would like to share with you. As I say, we have just met. I don't know you. But I have trusted you enough to share... But Ningwen, I should say, trusted you enough to take you into her confidence. And indeed, she has known some of you, and with that... this woman looks directly, with these piercing green eyes, directly at Tanya. Has known some of you long enough and has spoken highly enough of you for me to share this piece of extremely valuable information with you. One of our spies was lucky and managed to overhear the following snippet. That Papillus, perhaps he was ill, perhaps he was injured. The reports say he was certainly limping and looked both thin and in bad shape. Perhaps his mind wasn't fully on keeping information secure as he should have. But this is what we had to report, or what the reports that I have seen. And I quote directly from the dispatch that I have. And she takes out a piece of paper from her sleeve, very calmly takes her time with it and unfolds it, clears her throat and reads: "Ill luck in the accursed city. Nothing there for us but death. Death and a strong lead to more information about the dust in the sight of the ancients. A ruined Lords of Arcana, Lord Alchemist stronghold. Deep in the hills, not far from Ras Garret, to the south of the Thracian colony of northern Messenia. Yes, not a nice place. God, not nice at all. But better than the dead city, I guess. A region called Kinsel, full of those barbaric blue-skinned savages, the swine. These... These lot are a particularly nasty bunch, these tribesmen. A pack of poisoned, war dart-throwing swine, known as the Maikatha clan. But that is where we must try next, after some rest, at least. All we know from our spies is Papillus was seen on 2 more occasions, going to apothecaries and seeking both advice and medicines for, we presume, both him and potentially some of his group. And then a few days later, we lost track of him, despite all of the eyes that we had on him in Landania. We have asked some friends, however, in both Dransfeld, in northern Messenia, and other places, to keep aware of his movements and to be on the lookout for him. 3 weeks ago, got a report that there had been unusually high Turong activity in that region. Trolls going out and scouring more of the lands of that particular tribe of the Blueskins known as the Kinsel. If you want to hunt Papilius, that is where I would start. And with that, she folds the paper and she puts it back in her sleeves and just very calmly puts her hands back in her lap and looks at you.
Does Severin get the sense that she has finished speaking?
Yes.
He bows very deeply and thanks her for information. He's very indebted, and for her to take the party into her trust, and that trust is well met and will be returned. He,
How?
I get, yeah.
How will my trust be returned?
But with action, if I may be permitted, could I ask a few questions?
She nods.
You are no doubt more aware than anyone, and I'm sure that the rest of us gathered the threat in which the organisation from Tarang poses to everything we see around us. What are there any allies we could call on, or actions or activity already in place to thwart their plans that we could get involved in or would happily help? But I'd be interested to know what other forces are being amassed against them, and whether we could be of assistance to them.
What other forces are being massed against them, as you say, is not something for you to know at this time. However, you interrupted?
No, please go on.
However, there are people I know, powerful, very powerful people, who may be able to provide possibly more information, but definitely more aid and assistance to your cause. Substantial aid. Resources, connections, travel, all manner of things. Depending on how they like you, however, and the impression you make on them, in 2 days' time, they may assist with more information and assistance, and provide assistance with some of these other resources. If you wish to meet with them, I can arrange an audience. But you'll need to be very quick on your feet, very sure of yourself, and you'll need to be impressive with your words. They do not suffer fools, nor charlatans, nor people who waste their time. And they are not to be trifled with.
if she's finished speaking, he'll bow again and say he understands, and hopefully you've learnt something of who we are and our intentions, our goodly intentions. And we will endeavour not to disappoint, and we thank you for the opportunity to make that meeting.
Oh, friend Severin, and she uses Severin's real name. It's quite strange for somebody other than party members to actually use Severin's real name. And she looks as though she doesn't need to fumble for it or kind of, go through memory banks and try to kind of figure out, oh, that one there was Severin. No, she knew exactly who Severin was. Exactly who Severin was. Well, Severin, may the gods smile upon your glib and charming tongue. Do meet, because you'll need all the luck yet. Be ready at your accommodation at 8 bells, 2 nights' time hence. And you'll see what the fates await you.
If she stops speaking, he'll bow again and say we will endeavour to repay your trust with kind in our future actions and endeavours. If I may ask another question of you.
She nods.
Down the track, your knowledge is great. Clearly, you are extremely well connected. Were we to seek information further down the track of the nature of which we have spoken today, would you entertain an audience with us in the future, and is there a means by which we could contact you?
Do you know when day 0 takes place?
Our information is scant. We know something of it. Well, actually, I think here Severin will look at Nicholas, but he understands that it's when the iron shower is at its height. He'll look to Nicholas for if he has any more information.
We did have a... Sorry, Nicholas wouldn't say this, but I'm just checking. We did have a date for it, though, didn't we? We actually had a named date.
I can't remember.
And the information, I believe that we did.
Well, if we did, Chris, Severin will say yes. I'm trying to remember.
She answers her own question. It's in 4 months' time. Do you know where day 0 is likely to be? She pauses. Oh, better question. Do you know where it is likely, it is rumoured at least, the Pollock Committee will be evaluating 1, 2, perhaps even more means of pulling down everything we own and hold dear?
One moment, please. I'm just going through my notes.
Oh, I think I can remember that one from
Krakow or somewhere?
Krakow,
Somewhere in Poland, isn't it?
Star's Grave, yeah. Krakow in Poland.
Pretty sure.
Part of the south of the Emperor.
It's not in Poland.
Is it not? Okay.
She says thousands of miles to the south. Yeah. If you if you need to seek another audience with me before day 0 and still plan to get to the Star's Grave, then I suspect all is already lost. But if you wish to, sure. You may go through Omar again. She nods in the direction of the Chamberlain. The sands of the hourglass are rushing through the hourglass. We have no time. Everything is coming to a head. Everything we hold dear is at risk. And I doubt we'll have the time, or indeed the inclination, to seek my wisdom again.
And bows again, understood. Are you able to offer any insight as how to best travel to Krakow, the Star's Grave? And do you have any knowledge that you would be prepared to impart around the Waiter of the Long Night, as this Arza character who we have heard something of but know very little of? Any further information or advice?
First time since speaking with her, and you've been speaking for, as I say, a good hour or so, if not more. She looks puzzled. Arza? I do not know of what you speak.
Severin's happy to tell what he'll say. We have snatches of conversations that we have overheard or seen written evidence of, and he's got nothing to hide here, because so he'll tell the full story of what the Hero Party told him around the New Enlightenment Union's parallel plan under, we believe, Irene Tonta, and what they call the Right of Arza to bring down the old ways on this, their rival plan to the committee, and also Krakow Star's Grave at the same time, and how they plan to bring back something they call the Waiter of the Long Night, who we believe is some god or deity of the undead. And they have been searching through ancient ruins and places that related to the Odes of Arcana.
Cool.
So on and so on. He'll give the full story anyway. And mention the back door open to Black Hell, the Yellow Harvester, Gold Abomination that is associated. Yes, with that place and of Tarek Nev, he believes, but the full name Azarthoth, one of the fell gods, ancient foes of the old god pantheon, risen from Aramor, prepares to resurrect armies for a shocking revenge. Shipwreck. It sounds like a horrific foe, were this creature or deity to be brought back from wherever it now resides.
Can I ask everybody at this point, please, to roll a perception roll?
And Nicholas isn't asking this, but just interested to know if Severin does say this. Does he talk of the encounter on the road with the divine beings for the hero party?
Well, yeah, do you think he should?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, Severin's speaking. I don't have any say.
Yeah, I guess he's happy to tell the tale. That we have, made contact with other parties who are similar in mind to ourselves and have had their own experiences more with what I talk of now. And they have even, so they claim, been, this stretches obviously the boundaries of belief, but they claim they've been intercepted by many gods themselves and have seen witness to a divide that perhaps runs through angels, demons, and gods themselves, some assisting their cause, some opposing it. And they have been beset by visions and are to be happily tell you some of those now in case they mean anything to you. And then he'd be happy to go through the Bird, Dagger, Ruin City, Archwoman, Stone Stairway, Two Armies, Abyss, him, etc. in full.
Okay. Wow. Okay. The whole lot. Sure. Could you please give me a perception roll for each character? Let's start off with Anthony.
Yep. So Jada got 55.
And her bonus, please.
Whoops. One person, Jada.
Yeah, which character sheet should I be looking at? Which of the
Yes.
three?
Good. Line them up. Where is it? Perception. She is plus 55.
Oh, thank you. Next.
Gray was 86. And he was... Each character sheet is laid out slightly different. Plus 37.
Oh. And that's cool.
And Askel was 61. And he is... I think he's plus 50 something. No, plus 25.
Oh, cool. All right. Cool. Thank you. Okay. And let's go to Nicholas, please.
He rolled a 25.
And his bonus, please.
Is 39.
Okay. Oh. 7.
Rolled a 27, plus 72.
Wow.
And Tanya-year-old 66, and has a bonus of 77.
Wow. 66. And sorry, what was your bonus? 77?
77.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, both a little bit of information both from to both. Actually, as it turns out, with those roles, both Severin and Jadar. Sorry, and Tanya, I should say. Hang on, and Jadar too. Yeah, and Jadar as well. I'm just going to type a little bit in. Can you guys see what I'm typing? Yes, you can. Let's go to that. Okay. Okay, coming your way.
Which channel?
Yeah, just hang on a sec. Severin's channel. Right, coming to Severin's channel now. And Tanya. Okay. More information for Tanya. And a little bit of information from for Jadar as well.
While the GM's doing that, do either of you have any other questions? I mean, I think I think several would be quite interested to know who we can trust and who we need to avoid.
So,
I think.
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there because keen to keep it moving. So, she definitely is interested in Severin's story, no doubt about it. And you watch her kind of nodding as she does listen. Finally, when he stops, she doesn't interrupt him. She just lets him speak. So that entire story of what the hero party experienced, their utterly, frankly, ridiculous claim of demons and devils appearing on the road and attacking them in the North Sea and all that nonsense. He tells all of that. She listens the entire time. It's quite a story. She finally sits back after he's finished speaking and says to Severin, "You request transport and assistance to me." Or you request, sorry, let's try that again. She says, "You requested suggestions of transport and assistance from me. Right here, right now, I personally am not at liberty to assist you. However, the powerful people I know, the people with whom you will have an audience in front of 2 nights' time, they most definitely can assist you with those, frankly, relatively mundane issues you bring up, and a lot more. Money, contacts, secret ways of moving, of operating, passwords, safe houses, and other things. But you'll need to impress them. And perhaps you'll need to not impress them not just in 2 nights' time with your words, but potentially in future with your actions. But certainly making a good impression in 2 nights' time would be highly in your best interests. Without a doubt, they will be curious to hear the story that you have just told me. Some of it sounds clearly the ravings of people who are delusional. Some, however, some details you provide sound potentially plausible or are certainly of interest to me, and I suspect the people you will speak to in a few nights' time. Rest, ready your tongues, and be prepared for the audience of your life.
Another deep bow. Several would like to thank her again for her advice, and he confides in her that he's told on Ningwen's obviously has great respect, and he gives her a formal title with great respect, and I hope you, indeed I suspect you know that I have spoken with my heart today, freely and without caution. I wonder if I could ask you if you had any inkling of who we should not be so free with. You have recommended your contacts, and of course we'll be equally open with them. But are there other groups that we don't know of who we should be particularly watchful of? Known agents or from other entities? We have, as you've heard from our tale, fallen foul to many of them. Would you have any advice or places or people or that we would best avoid?
Two comments. First is, I'm not at liberty to say much more, but to those you speak with in 2 nights' time, they may be more forthcoming than I. Secondly, by some miraculous chance, you are still alive. Incredible to me, but true, considering those that hunt you. Whatever you have done till now, keep doing it, because it appears to have served you well, kept you breathing.
He'll very gracefully bow and thank her for her kind words. Did anyone else have any questions they wanted Severin to raise, or while he's here?
No, nothing from Grey, Askel, or Jada.
But it sounds like the next step sounds like we're probably at the end of this meeting. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah,
I think you've done
yeah.
really well.
And I think we probably need to collate some questions for the next group, I suggest.
Yeah.
We were perhaps a bit more hands-on. Okay. Well, I guess Severin will finish with a certain degree of flattery without being too fawning, and bow again and thank her for her audience, and say if we can be of service to her gracious sort of she need only call, and I hope we meet again Sunday under better circumstances.
She just simply nods and says, 2 nights' time hence, at 8 bells, ready at your accommodation. And she then quite deliberately looks away from you and looks to her chancellor, and he begins striding across the short bridge in your direction. Omar nods at his mistress as he arrives, looks at you all, and just simply says in Westron, "Follow me." And unless somebody else does differently, you head out of this beautiful, beautiful garden, and you come back out into kind of the outer inner sanctum, if that makes sense, into here. Omar turns to you all and just simply says, "I trust the meeting with my mistress went well, and I bid you good day." And then he indeed turns on his heel and starts walking back towards his office. Any actions?
No. If he's broken off, it's fine. If there were some parting gestures of respect, Severin would obviously make them.
Didn't look particularly warm, friendly. Although you did make an impression on him, actually. You did. No, you did. No, he probably would have been a little bit warmer than that, to be fair. Severin did roll particularly well, so perhaps he was a little bit more friendly. So yes, he would have. Sorry, so Severin would have had the opportunity to have said or done something before he.
Yeah, I think we just thank him for his audience and for graciously allowing them to meet with. It was a pleasure meeting your company. You know, thank you again, and they'll be on their way. Yeah,
Okay.
just pleasantries.
Okay. Unless any character does anything, please tell me now. Oh, you all leave the. You head down the stairs, past the guards. A number of the one in particular that greeted you yesterday, Severin and Tanya, nods and bows deeply, and you find yourselves outside in the plaza of the painted house, some distance away. What do you do?
We're gonna have to go out and buy some even more expensive pants, by the sounds of it.
You're in pretty nice pants.
Well, how'd you know? Okay. Well, I mean, should we just? We're probably being watched. Should we head back to our accommodation?
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah. Get back, regroup, come up with a plan, and if we've only got a couple of days, then
I reckon lay low over the Festival of the Cold Moons.
Yeah, I think we do that. I think we find a place where we can talk in the open, like a courtyard nearby, and don't venture any further. So to have any conversations about what we intend to ask the group who are going to approach us, and figure out a list of inquiries that we might make, just as a group, so we make sure we capture as much information as we can from the next. But I think we probably have those conversations out in the open without people around.
Okay.
I think we got to assume that we're now under watch.
Yep.
If we weren't already.
All right. What questions? Do you have that conversation now?
Out in the open. Yeah, I just think just amongst ourselves, really, in terms of being clear what we want to ask and what information we need and all that kind of gubbins. Yeah.
I think we should discuss what we want to do as well.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Perhaps one of the questions would be a recommendation of. I mean, I think we've got two options. We try and intercept Twilight at this. Well, Nicholas would make the point that Kinsale, where this ruin was, is actually where, how he's had this ring stolen from his family.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's what got him onto this quest. And there's this guy he can go and kill if he meets up with him to take the ring back. Is Guildwyn of Kinsale. So that's exactly where Nicholas has always meant to go. It's where he's been aiming for the whole time.
Good.
So I think we've got.
What a coincidence!
Imagine that. And incidentally, that's where the dart, I believe. Yeah, the dart that Grey is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a dart a throwing dart or a knife, a poison dart that killed Grey's Beastmaster, I think. And that's the connection Grey and one of the connections Grey and Nicholas have is that they're both after the same people from the same place, which is this Kinsale place. Anyway, so we can either intercept Torvash Papillus there, or we can try and beat them to the Star's Grave and intercept and disrupt them, or both. So I think we need to get a read on if these people are able to help us with transport. What's the nature of that transport and what's our timings? How far to Krakoa? How far to and the travel time, and how can we do both? Can we do one? Because that's the biggest constraint, I think.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have probably a path that they're going to urge us to take, I presume, which is fine. I guess I think probably first step is we've got to somehow win their confidence in some fashion. So I mean, we've got fancy pants, but what about
charming and quick on our feet?
Maybe an off-the-shoulder number. I don't know. What are better shoes? I mean, I don't. I mean, Severin will do.
Jim's going to hit to the loo for a sec. Have a chat.
Severin will roll as best he can and hope he's lucky again. He's got a mask that he can wear that. does that do? I don't know if it actually does more charm, does it? Yeah, perception adds to public speaking. Yeah, so it might add a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't suggest we use any magic on them. That might go a bit wrong. So I think keep it natural.
So she did say
Yeah.
something about being quick on our feet.
Yep, could do some dancing.
Well, don't know. I don't know what that means. We're going to be kidnapped.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'll be back, guy. I'm just going to use the bathroom myself.
Oh, what do you think, Anthony?
Maybe it's some what do you call trials or activities we might have,
Yeah. I was wondering. Yeah. Okay.
past asterisks or something,
Yeah.
I was just looking when you talk about quickening your feet. I was just thinking Jadar's quite good with acrobatics and tumbling. No, we could be overthinking it.
True. But yeah, that I had a similar thought. Let's see. I mean, there's nothing we can do to prepare that apart from just be well rested, I guess.
Yeah, well, to me, be well rested implies it could be physically and mentally challenging. So it might be, you said maybe it's tasks, and you've got to lift heavy things or move heavy things or problem solve or putting us through the paces of how resourceful we are.
All right, GM's back. What do you do?
I think Graham's gone flu.
Okay.
I'm back.
Back.
One thing I was going to say is that this week could be whisked off quite quickly. So whatever we intend to do, I suggest we assume that we'll have run out of time to do anything else by the time we meet these people.
We need to go
Maybe not.
cash up.
So
and
I
then
reckon
go.
we take as much cash as we think we need, for one, and purchase anything we need, two, and that means right away.
Yeah.
Because we've got this pesky thing in the festival in the way. So, did the rest of you? There was those list of items down there. Was any of those interesting to any of you?
No, not really. Askel and Jada were more interested in and it will be Grey as well. Potentially, the spells. I don't think Grey needs to carry anything else, so he doesn't need any more gear.
No, but for instance, Severin will be interested in some fine arrows. Like the ones that, things like that. We had several +15 non-magic weapons, if anybody's wanting. +5 scimitar, +10 spear, +10 composite bow, things like that.
No.
Well, actually, Severin bought that, didn't he? Composite bow.
No, mainly just the spell list, I think, really.
Okay.
But Askel was broke. Didn't have enough money to go and buy, so he was waiting for us to go and cash in an ingot or two.
Yeah, so what we need to do is get that item for Jada, the PowerPoint thing.
Great.
So I suggest we at least get that.
So we need to cash the ingots.
Yeah.
We still have the one.
We don't know what. Well, I guess we just leave them where they are, and we'll leave them in the bank. I suggest, and put an advance payment on them to keep them safe. We don't want to carry them around. That's for certain. And then a case of cashing the rest in, I suppose.
All right.
Do we need to make sure that everyone has the ability to withdraw ingots at a later date, just in case a bunch of us don't make it back?
Yeah, happy to say, jot it down in your character sheets, or actually in the new XP tracker. Just a little thing that each one of you has a token from the bank with a particular account number, which gives you the ability to withdraw. So each of you do, but jot it down, please. Just call it bank token in the tracker.
Chris, did
Wait.
we had an initial costing for those? Did we do any better? Because I think she rolled.
She did, but remember you didn't have time to do it. So generally, in the trading is typically, because it takes a lot, particularly for a very expensive items like these. For lesser items, you could probably fit more in, but these are a lot of money, and to get to the actual final price is several hours, 4 hours generally, of negotiation. So you're only able to do one at a time.
Right. What can we do another now?
It's about halfway through the day, so you could try one more, sure.
Is that all right with everyone?
Yeah.
To do what?
Try and get a better price for our ingots.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
But it'll have to be negotiated by Askel or Jada, right?
Yeah, I was extremely generous and charming and good-looking and magnanimous and kind, ruggedly handsome and modest with my ruling that really I was completely and utterly, frankly, being way too generous by saying that Tanya, who doesn't necessarily speak the languages or the languages of this area, could actually do the trading herself. She would have had to have gone through Askel and Jadar, which would have given her a very hefty minus. I decided, because of all those other kind adjectives I gave to myself, that actually she was able to trade with her plus 11 for trading without a minus. Cool. So I've taken from that this afternoon you want to go back to. You've identified 6 metal traders. You've been to 1 for a price. You're now off to another metal trader. Correct. And that would take you, by the time you haggle for 4 or so hours, that would take you all the way up to the evening. Is that what you're wanting to do?
I think so. I think we need to get the money, and that then we've got the festival the next day, and then we've got a day before we meet them in the evening, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that would give us that day to make any purchase that we wish to with the money that we've got.
Cool. All right.
And it'll be cheaper because it's like Boxing Day, right?
Exactly. The big sales on would be great.
Excellent. All right. So you're walking back. You now know Jebi Retana quite well. You've been here for. Today is the 22nd. You arrived on the 11th. So, 11 days of walking around the city. Even those that don't know the language so well, can't read and write Haradanian or Vastenspark, the Eastern language, you've now got a sense of the city. So fair to say you know your way around, even those that aren't maybe so familiar with this culture, pretty well. And you're all walking back to your in the direction of your lodgings, which is also in the direction of the second metal trader that you're wanting to go. And as mentioned earlier on, there is definitely this sense of tension on the streets. And as you're heading across quite a large plaza area, heading down a street, you hear raised voices, and some distance away from you, you see the following. Would see the following if the GM can find it. Yes, I can. There I can. Here we go. Yeah. So you see, and at the moment you see blackness, but you see, firstly, this man here who appears to be some kind of trader. And whoops. Oh, let's go to that. No, let's go to that. There we go. That's better. Some kind of trader, relatively impoverished, and he is in a very heated argument. And as I say, you can kind of feel around you that tensions are quite high. People are kind of looking at each other waringly. It's Cold Moon's Eve. It's not a good day, and yeah, shouting breaks out between this man. This elderly man here, who seems to be supporting or seems to be on the same side, or at least they're seem to be aligned as such, although this man is quite well dressed. This guy is under some kind of not tarpaulin, but like a stall with a cloth roof above it. And there are three Vast and Spark or Easterling type people who are arguing with this man here. Is this guy, this chap here, and this guy here. And all of a sudden, pretty much just as you are approaching, just some distance off, I'll show you on the map in a second, somebody shouts, and there's a punch as this guy here punches this elderly man who goes sprawling on the ground. This man here draws that dagger. You can see a dagger in his belt. And this man here and here also draw bladed weapons. This chap here has got a decent kind of walking stick in his hand. This is the situation. So your characters are walking through this area. The old man... Oops. There we go. The old man's just gone flying. He's on his backside here. This guy's just punched him. This chap's just drawn a knife. He's drawn a knife. And he's got a stick. Your characters are... The six of you are here. One second. We're going into rounds. Tanya, you see this? You and your companions are easily some 20 or so feet away from this Rakar that's breaking out here. No one is currently approaching you or currently any form of aggression towards you. You are the only one in your party that's armed. You have your short sword at your side. Your route that you're planning on traveling is through here. What, if anything, do you do, please?
I think she'll say, let's leave alone and walk demonstrably away from the problem, right off to the left, giving a very wide arc and staying away from it.
Cool. So, what, around here?
And up through the gap and out.
Up from this direction?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Jada. You've just seen an elderly Arab man, person of your, if not your, presumably your faith, just pushed to the ground by three men of Easterling complexion. Do you say do anything, or do you follow Chanya's lead, or do something else?
Jada would probably look to the party to go and just, in her quiet way, to say, "Oh, we should help," and then look to the party.
Okay. So that was like a 20% action from Jada. If it, depending on what others say, I'll give you another 80% to act, depending on what, if anything, they do. Next up is Askel.
Askel would obviously, hear Jada what she's saying, but noting Tanya's kind of left, he would sort of just indicate to Jada, "Oh, just leave it. Mind our business. We've had the experience with the drunks last time. Let's just keep going."
Okay. Any other actions from him other than that?
No.
Does he stay where he is, or does he move?
No, he'll stay where he is. Noting if Jada has not moved, he won't move.
Okay. Cool. Ray.
Gray, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Gray would just be looking at what's happening to the elderly old man, but also like he's probably just waiting for the reaction of what the rest of the party want to do.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I'd say with that, that's an opportunity act. Well, you haven't seen it, so never mind. Nicholas.
Nicholas will take an opportunity action to, follow the rest of the party wherever they go.
Okay. Okay. This guy here. What's he do? So this guy's got a dagger drawn. Comes around kind of spitting and yelling at this chap here. The knife's out and he's kind of moving up closer to him. He hasn't attacked yet, but yeah, he's certainly looking aggressive. The guy with the walking stick, who just actually, his action this round was to shove the old guy down, so he's acted. Severin, what do you do?
I think he'll reply saying, we've got really important work ahead that affects everyone in this city and all around the world. Should we press on? And follows Tanya.
Follows Tanya, sure. All right. Cool. One. And. Oh. With a Haradanian war cry, the younger of the two Arab guys, with his drawn knife, attacks this man here. No, he doesn't. Not with that roll. Quite comical for anybody that happened to watch. Completely mistimed his strike and ends up juggling his knife for quite a while. Next up, this guy here. What does he do? Oh yeah, he doesn't like the attempt on him, at least. And has a strike on the Arab guy. Oof. 18 and E. Anybody watching? This chap here ducks under one of this guy's flailing arms and just sticks his dagger straight into his chest. And with a sigh, he collapses on the ground. Blood spurting from his chest. That is the end of that round. Initiative. Jada, you've stood there, you've seen what it looks like someone just get murdered with an 88 on an E-critical. What, if any, actions from you? You've also seen Severin and Tanya head off in this direction.
Yeah, I think she would. call to them to stop.
In a situation like, just a thought, in a situation like this where you're wondering what she would do, sometimes you might want to roll a dice. I don't need to know the results. It could be a self-discipline roll, it could be an empathy roll, it could be something like that. That might, adding on her bonus, and that might give you an indication of what she or another character might do. If you're wondering what to do, the dice might help you decide. Up to you. Up to you how you want to do it. Or do you head off after Severin and Tanya? Hello, Jada. We lost Anthony. Hello. Anthony, you
Not
there?
on mute.
No, he's not.
on mute.
He's not.
Maybe he's rolling his dice. Maybe he's going to find some dice.
Maybe he has gone to find some dice. Hello. Okay, we are gonna move on. Next up is Nicholas.
Nicholas would like to have a look around.
Sure.
He's looking for watch. He's looking for guards.
Sure. Give me a perception roll, please.
22.
Cool. Lovely. Okay. No, he can't see anything. He certainly can't see any sign of any guards. And also Pete.
Yeah. Anthony's dropped out.
Right.
He must have been connecting problems.
Also Pete.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Cool.
He's dropped out, having connection issues. Okay, so looking around, Nicholas, no sign of any constabulary right now. Never a police officer around when you need them. That was a 10% action or a 30% action. Your call. I took that as a 10% actually. Sorry. So you've got 90% left.
Sure. Well, that guy's down. It's too late for the other guy. He's going to just follow. Well, he'll wait, but he's going to start. Yeah, he's going to start looking like he wants to follow. So perhaps he doesn't want to go by himself. he's too. Well, what's the vibe in the plaza?
Oh, people are just horrified. A crowd's forming.
Okay. People could go in that direction.
Yeah, he could definitely go in that direction. No problem at all.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. People are starting to go towards.
Yes. Yeah. There's more people in between.
Oh, okay. There's plenty of help for them. Nicholas will say, "Yeah, let's go. Let's get out of this." And he'll head off, but sort of looking back to make sure the others are following him. He doesn't want to be left alone.
Cool. All right.
Apologies.
You're back.
That's all right.
Yeah. Some technically just went blip, and then it wouldn't Discord.
No worries.
Updating. So
no worries. All good. So Jada was actually first to act at the party. She's just seen this guy go down. I was suggesting you could, if you were stuck, anybody's ever stuck with what their character does, rolling a dice may help, plus adding their bonus. Up to you how you want to handle it. Nicholas has said someone's down, no helping him. I don't want any part of this, and is heading cautiously off to follow Severin and Tanya. What does Jada do, please?
Yeah, so Jada's definitely very conflicted, given what she is, a healer, and peaceful, and a countryman, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So she would implore them to stop. Please stop, and yelling it out.
Okay. Sorry, can you be a little bit more precise. What's she actually doing to whom? What's going? Yeah, what's she yelling? Where to who? Where?
She's just yelling at that group of the Eastlings
Yep.
to please stop.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, cool. Tanya, so you've got to, arguably about there, glancing over your shoulder. Nicholas is coming. Severin's alongside you. Anything you're doing, Tanya?
I'll wait for the others to catch up.
Cool. Askel.
Askel would probably just trying to take Jadar's arm just to move her along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So Jadar is yelling, stop it, you swine! Don't, leave him alone. Cool. All right. And lastly, Grey.
Grey would just follow. Noting that others are moving, he'd just follow up behind with them, just warily watching, make sure there's no sort of other incidents that kick off.
Okay, sure thing. Severin?
To affect the party, yeah.
Sure thing. Severin?
Yeah, are you happy to move on, when the rest of them get there?
Okay. So just as these four characters move up to their companions, and you kind of head on through, the last thing you see is this guy here and this guy here aiming some kicks, not like going going crazy on the old man on the ground, not like absolutely stomping him, but certainly aiming some kicks at him on the ground as he's kind of lying there cowering, trying to cover his head. And then that's the last you see as you walk out of the plaza. Any actions I should be aware of? Anything else just as you leave?
Nicholas would just let Tanya and Severin know about the knife wound.
Okay.
Because I assume he is assuming that they didn't see it, so
Correct.
he just
Yeah.
just quietly let them know, and that guy's probably a goner. Yeah. So they're fully informed of the situation. That's it.
Okay.
Tanya would just say, no business of ours.
Okay. So you head on through the streets, and as described, there's definitely an atmosphere in this place, as you've just witnessed. People are tense. You make your way on, just kind of keeping your eyes about you. Jebi Retana has not felt like a dangerous city before. In fact, it's arguably felt one of the safest that you've been to for quite some time. But yeah, this incident, this quite shocking incident, is quite horrendous. You find your way heading back to one of the other metal traders that you wanted to go to. The Iron Stronghold was the next place. The Iron Stronghold is a large single-story building made entirely of stone and iron. The building has a large iron gate at the entrance, and it's surrounded by a wall of iron spikes. Inside the main room is spacious, with shelves lining the walls and a large counter in the centre. The room has a faint smell of metal and oil, and the walls are adorned with various weapons and armour. The proprietor is Qasim bin Omar, a stern, muscular man and with a reasonably thick beard and blue eyes. And you'd spoken with him previously. This is Qasim here, or will be in a second. That's not Qasim. Rather, this is Qasim.
That was a crouching tiger.
That is Qasim. Tanya, this is one of the beauties of actually doing the dice rolls beforehand, because we don't need to go through and do the figuring out. So you go through the process of the whole dance. What do you want, and all the rest of it, and blah 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 blah. And you finally, after begrudgingly, Qasim finally gives you the following price for what you're talking about. Coming into main chat now, Tanya, or well, actually, I guess everybody would be aware of it because everybody's seeing it. So these were based on the rolls that you made previously. So he says to you, you know, he's perplexed by the mithril ingot. I mean, he tells you via Haradanian, you definitely need Askel and Jadar's translation skills here. You know, it's utterly worthless. You know, I've never seen it before. I'm not especially interested in it. I guess I'm a bit curious. You know, for a silver piece, I'll take it off your hands. It doesn't look particularly useful in terms of metal crafting. He says of the gold ingot, look, I actually have plenty. In fact, I'm overstocked with gold at the moment, so thanks, but no thanks. The bronze ingot, he offers 7 gold pieces. And then for 1 copper ingot, he offers 8 silver and 5 bronze. And that would take you onto dusk on the eve of the Festival of Cold Moons. What do you say to Kasim, please?
I'm just trying to find the original prices.
The other ones, the ones that are in party items from the Copper Phoenix, and they are better from the Copper Phoenix.
Right. All right. Well, we'll politely move on.
Okay. He does seem quite eager at getting you out of his shop and closing, and he's constantly kind of looking at the sky. He's looking, as quite a few people are, quite twitchy. What do you do?
You go home then.
I reckon go home and just lie low.
All right, we'll go home, lie low, and avoid fights.
All right.
Yeah. Good. What time of the day is it now?
By the time you've done your haggling first, well, walking through the city, done your haggling, etc., it's quite some time. Quite some time late in the day.
Okay. Yeah. We get out of there.
Okay. So
we'll
you
go back to our quarters.
You're extremely salubrious, charming quarters. You know, this is what I'm terming the common room. That's your kind of private dining area upstairs, your bedrooms, etc. You see your friends now, Alan, perhaps, you know, he nods at you, and he too is looking. Yeah, nervous, and there's nobody in the dining. There's a small handful of people in the dining room, nearly half less than you'd normally be accustomed to. Can I just ask everybody, please, as you come in, to make a perception roll, please?
Nicholas got 59.
Bonus of
39.
Cool. Okay.
7 rolled 32.
Bonus.
With a bonus of 72. And Tanya rolled a 48 with a bonus of 77.
Cool. Thank you.
Jada rolled a 74 with a bonus. Oh, I think that's before. Gosh, where's it gone already? Yeah, 74 with a bonus of 55 for Jada.
55. Cool. Yep.
Gray rolled an 81
Yep.
with a bonus of 37. And then lastly, Askel rolled a 17 with a bonus of 25.
Lovely. Thank you. Cool. So, yes. The following, please. Askel, can you join me in chat room 1, please? And Nicholas, can you check your channel?
Cool. If he notices something, can he share it straight away, or is it sort of happening in the moment?
It's kind of happening in the moment.
Okay, cool.
Well, let me just. I'll have a word with Askel first. Actually, first.
Cool. Yep.
Yep. Askel, can you join me in track room 1, please? I'll be back in a second, guys.
Cool.
Hello. You're on mute, mate.
Must have been as soon as you jump in the room, it mute you.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Okay. So Askel is one of the last ones. It just purely happens this way. You're one of the last ones into the Grand Bazaar Lodge, just by happenstance. You're slightly behind the rest. And as you're about to head upstairs, you glance across at one of the patrons in the Grand Bazaar, and you nearly do a double take because you see this man here. See on screen? No, you can't see on screen because... No, you can't because I haven't switched on the camera.
Nothing.
There we go. This man here. And what's interesting about this man is you know him. His name is Faisal al-Hamra. And Faisal al-Hamra is one of the Seekers. One of the people of your mistress and you back from Shabibi. And he is clearly looking at you, and he just catches your eye and motions you, if you can see the GM's camera for a second, and just does this towards you. He's sitting in the common room, plenty of other people around, well lit, etc.
Yes. Askel will, knowing what it may mean, he will have to head over.
Okay, great. Cool. I'm just going to go back, based on that information, I'm just going to go back to the others and tell them what's happened. So hold fire for a second, and I'll join you in just a tick.
Yeah, as I say, Askel wouldn't necessarily tell the others what he's doing. He would probably just...
No, he'd just do it. Understood.
Yeah. Just last one in, go, ooh.
Yep. Understood.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, there.
Hello.
Right, yeah.
Hello.
So, you can't. No, you can't see that. That's fantastic. What can you see? You can see that. We'll put on that for the moment. All right.
You can't see anything.
No, you can't. No, you can't. And that's okay for the moment. So, you're heading into the Grand Bazaar Lodge. And you've come through. Now, there's a main common room where the fight was nearly a week ago now. You're not going through that one. There's a smaller kind of common area-ish where people eat and drink. Actually, in your building, if you remember, it's kind of split up in terms of your accommodation and the main area. But still, there are people eating and drinking downstairs. And as I mentioned, you saw our lim as you came in. Nick, everybody else is just kind of trudging upstairs, kind of mulling over the prices, the information you've been given today. Quite an eventful day, actually. When Nicholas, your keen eyes and a damn good perception roll just happened to spot something. Askel is at the back of your group. It just purely happened like that, just when he came into the lodge. And he's actually turned around and is walking over and is in the process of sitting down. And now I will switch on a camera. Heading back to a table, back down into not the main common room, as I say, but to sit down at a table with a man that looks like this. and they start chatting. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong, from what you can see. I mean, from what you can make out, they're just talking. But that's happened. Any actions from yourselves?
Oh, definitely. Nicholas would quietly draw the party's would catch the next person in line's attention, or call out very softly, and just mention it to the rest of the group.
Okay.
Trying to stop inconspicuously, like not pointing, and just say, what do you make of that?
If Tanya would probably hang back and just be inconspicuous and stand up against the bar area or something like that, and sort of surreptitiously keep an eye on things.
I don't describe it particularly well. In my head, you've actually started heading up the stairs. Some of you are probably on the next landing. Nicholas, you were part way up the stairs when you noticed this. So a number of you would have to come back down again. Well, all of you would have to come down the stairs back into this area, into the common space. If Tanya wants to do that, she certainly can.
Yep, she'll do that.
So Nicholas would have then finished going upstairs, described it, and then recommend that not all of us go back down.
Okay.
But Tanya's going, so that's cool.
Sure. Okay. All right. Tanya, you go down and do what?
Take a stool against the bar. Get a soft drink.
Yep.
And just hang and just occasionally gaze around the room and look as if she's not looking.
Okay, sure. Cool.
But
all right.
she is looking.
Cool. Done. Cool. I'll be back to you in a second. Hello.
Hello. I was just thinking, do I need to come back to the other group for Jadar and Gray?
It gets a little bit complicated. Let's go with no. So yeah, you sit down and Faisal up on screen looks at you and smiles. You didn't ever know Faisal that well. You didn't know whether to trust him, not trust him, whether you liked him, whether you didn't like him. There were quite a few seekers under Dina's control, tutelage, call it what you will. He was one of them you really didn't know. You think he was reasonably capable, from what you've heard, but you're not sure. You're not sure about him. So he sits down and he just smiles. Hello, Askel. How are you?
Askel would be very. I am well.
Good.
What brings you to Jebi Retana?
Well, you do, Askel. You do.
It would be. Is Mistress Dina inquiring after me?
She's wanting to know why you're using her name in public and why you are seeking her endorsement is probably the best word, which she has freely given, you'll notice, but she wants to know why. After
a small bit of a pickle and needed a bit of a strong influence to get out of that quickly.
Pickle.
Yes.
So you would use our mistress. Our mistress's good name. Our mistress, the author of one of the most fantastic books ever written in terms of how to treat the subhuman. You feel it appropriate to use our mistress's name to be bandied around to help you get simply a bit of additional coin. Is that right?
No, bit more stuck than that. Yeah, hard to describe what happened in the last few weeks ago.
Try me, says Faisal.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the in between?
No, what's that?
Exactly. Well, that's somewhere where I happen to have been. Not a pleasant place. Rather challenging. Almost lost my life on more than one occasion. So desperate times required desperate actions.
Why is this our mistress's concern?
Well, not necessarily her concern, but when needed a bit of influence, I'll happily use her, my association with her.
I see. She is not pleased, Askel. She has done you this favour, however, and it is a favour, because she believes in you. I'd strongly advise you don't let your poor judgment and poor actions either disgrace or embarrass or inconvenience her again. There's another reason I'm here, Askel. And that is, I believe you were given a green stone such as this, and he holds up the same type of stone that Askel has been given. Have you lost yours? Because it hasn't quite been a month since she last heard from you. But nearly. And the words, "Mistress, I remain true," and fulfilling your oath and your obligation that you swore that you would, is nearly due for this month. I would respectfully remind you of the promises that you made to our mistress. Have I made myself clear, Askel?
Askel stepping closer to Faisal, to almost in his face, and in a bit more of a very stern and I guess almost clenched teeth sort of speaking, and say, Faisal, you do not need to remind me of what I swore to.
Ooh.
And he will eyeball Faisal.
Okay.
Stare him down.
So you're sitting down at the stage, but where you were, but you lean forward and you're like really.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So he just sits back, away from you, at the other side of the table, and this smile, smirk even, forms a corner of his mouth. Are you threatening me, Askel?
No. I'm just highlighting to you, I know what I swore to do. You seem like you needed to be reinforced.
If you know what you needed to do, why haven't you done it?
this in-between place, believe it or not, lacks place, space, and time. And it was completely cut off from this world we're in right now. It's just been but a few days for what seemed like an eternity that I was gone.
Well, you're here now. In this large metropolis with plenty of those that need education, shall we say. You know what to do, Askel. And she is watching. She is always watching. I don't know. Yeah, anything else from Askel?
Yeah, Askel will just sit back in his chair and say, anything else, Faisal?
Oh, friend Askel. It's Cold Moon's Eve. And I wish to go. I don't want to be out late this evening. Remember
No, it could be dangerous out there.
Remember your words, he says, and gets to his feet and heads for the door, unless Askel says or does anything different.
I think Askel would just call out, tread carefully and be safe in the dark tonight, Faisal. Friend.
Excellent.
I think
he doesn't look back.
I think Askel would be, once he's gone out the door, he'll be like that, quietly sort of like thump the table and kick it and like...
Cool.
And then recompose himself.
And then?
And obviously curse under his breath.
Okay. And then?
I think Askel needs to have a think about what he's going to do. He's got two whole days. So is it on dinner, dusk, early evening?
It is.
Yeah.
On the worst, one of the worst nights of the year.
Worst in what way?
Inauspicious. A bad day to do. Well, certainly tomorrow is a bad day to do anything, and tonight is generally not considered a good night to do something. Suggestion: if you're wanting to do something, we can run a one-on-one session. But if you want to do something tonight, we definitely can. But let's do it a one-on-one session.
Okay. Yep.
Is that all right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think.
Do you think he would? Just to help me with my planning and my thinking?
Yeah. I think Askel would be quietly, well, not necessarily quietly. He's in the hustle bustle, but sitting, brooding somewhat, and formulating a plan in his head.
Okay.
Yeah. He might need to ponder a bit more.
Sure. So just as as a heads up, to help, you met the party on the 23rd. Which was not tomorrow. Actually, Festival of Cold Moons will be a month ago. So you will have known this party for a month, believe it or not, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know when Askel last fulfilled his obligations, but I'd assumed it was, today's the 22nd, which is exactly a month ago, the day before you fulfilled. Now, your fulfilling for Dina doesn't have to be on the day. So if you're a few days over, And that's what Faisal intimated to you, that you're getting close to being overdue with your commitments. So Askel senses he might have a few days breathing space, perhaps. And what does a few days overdue actually mean? You don't know.
Yeah. I think Askel might have to recompose himself and then just go meet with the party as he ponders a bit more what to do.
All right, cool. Do you want to hold fire there for just 2 more seconds, and I'll be back in a sec.
Yep, no worries.
Cool.
Thinking of is that Mithan does have that poison cancellation for Ningwan if needed.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Tanya, specifically...
Hello.
Specifically you, and everybody else is headed up to their room, but you watch the following. So up on screen, you can't quite see it yet. You see Askel sit down across the table from this man. They don't have a particularly long conversation. Probably maybe 5 or 6 minutes. At one stage, you see Askel quite aggressively move up in this guy's face across the table. Like he actually, he's really up in his face, and you can't hear what he's saying. But it's quite aggressive from Askel. And then the guy on screen just kind of sits back and just smirks at Askel. And then after a bit more back and forth, the gentleman concerned gets to his feet and starts walking towards the door. Askel shouts something at him, and the guy in Haradanian, which you don't understand, and the guy doesn't turn around and just leaves the door. You see Askel sitting at the table. He's still for a second or two, and then he just kicks the table, smashes the table with his hand, and then puts his head in his hands. And after a while, he kind of shakes his head a bit, kind of seems to almost visibly compose himself, and turns around and sees you. And I'll just...
I was going to say I was going to sit down, but...
You come over to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And take the seat.
Okay. I'll just grab Askel back in. Askel, can you join us in chat room 1, please?
Roger.
All right. Everybody here? Yes. So.
Yep.
Tanya, as described, you've seen this conversation take place. You've seen Askel behave as I described to you. After this man leaves, and Askel shouts something at him in Haradanian you don't understand, or not shouts, but certainly raises his voice, says something to him. The guy leaves. You see Askel kicking the table, like pausing for a second and then just kind of thumping the table and kicking the table in frustration. Kind of his head goes into his hands for a second or two. He kind of composes himself, and he's about to kind of get up to turn, and Tanya does what? Tanya, who's been sitting down at the other part of the bar behind Askel. Okay, Askel, just as you're getting to rise from the table after the man concerned has gone, Tanya sits down.
Hard day at the office.
Yeah, Askel would probably be a little bit quiet, but sort of look a little bit downtrodden and then shake his head. And something like that.
You could smash up some furniture, or we could just chat about it.
Yeah, I think Askel would. Yeah, I think he'd just respond with, yeah, maybe not tonight. Maybe I need a drink.
Well, let's get one now. You can tell me all about it.
Yes.
Here's the
Yes,
thing.
drinks. Let's have drinks.
All right.
Here's the thing. Your business is your own, but we've got a rather little important meeting coming up, and be good to know about any eventualities or unexpected things that may happen between now and then, and maybe after, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Let's get that drink or drinks.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're happy to get a drink. With Askel, I think. Yeah. I mean, Ten is just gonna try and get him to talk, and because she's suspicious and she's not sure what happened or whether there was any magic involved or what happened just happened then, she's gonna lie perception anyway, just in case.
Okay. Say, Askel, if anything.
Yeah. I'd say where are the others? They must need a drink too.
I think they're just kicking back. Anyway, here's to successful endeavours.
Yes. Successful.
Come on, old fruit. What's the story? Come on. There's no need for secrets. Crikey, you've certainly heard my tale and seen my heart drag through the coals. It can't be that bad, can it? Anyway, a problem halved is a problem solved, probably. Half solved.
Half solved.
Yeah.
Come on, let us have it. What needs fixing?
It's cool. Well, we did well in around with Fahad and calling in a favour off my mistress. That worked well.
Right.
Yeah. And she's a bit of a demanding mistress, and nothing comes. I guess there's got to be a bit of balance. She provides a favour, and then she'll pull on that favour when needed to I guess repayment in kind, so to speak. But yeah.
Well, sure. What does she want you to do?
Yeah. So that person that was here before was just in her employ as I am. Or not necessarily employ, but under her protection or guidance. Yeah, so she was just reminding me of my deals or my promises to her, which are almost due. So
Are we talking money?
no.
What do you owe?
I need to get to continue her trust in me, or maintain that trust in with her, with the promise to serve her.
In what sense?
I have some tasks to uphold.
Well, maybe we can help.
Want to give me a roll for
No.
perception, please? Can you?
Sure. $63 plus 44.
You have known Askel, by the way, exactly tomorrow, 1 month, believe it or not. So a bit of a bonus because you know him. You think Askel is telling the truth-ish? Not quite sure. Yeah, you think he's being generally truthful. Yeah.
So look,
That could have been a dud roll, of course.
it could have been. You've got a problem, and look, we're all in this shit together. We've got some, very important things to achieve, and things we need to do. So if there's, anything that's troubling you, then it's all our business, isn't it? We've all got to help. We've all got to stick together. So, what's the deal, and how can we help? What is it you've got to pay? What do you got to do?
So Askel will probably take another long drink or quick shot.
Or both.
Yeah. So, my mistress Dina, to maintain being her loyal vassal and to prove my loyalty, I must once a month carry out an act against the stupid. At that, he'll have another drink. The stupid, the subhuman, and I am almost past due.
So, when you mean subhuman and stupid, what do you mean? You mean sort of lowly classes, or what are you getting at?
Yes, yeah, pretty much that.
Right, so she's some sort of okay. And when you mean, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean murder?
May do.
And is this a religious thing?
Religious, loosely. It's a different sort of faith, you may say. Cult.
And you're a member of this cult?
Not say member. I'm loyal to my mistress. I must.
And what would be the consequences of you not doing this?
I really don't know. I've since I've been under her wing, I've not delivered, so to speak.
And is there a particular target in mind, or are you expected to pick someone at random?
If I was here, well, I am here. No, I would just walk into the night, and make a decision or pick my target.
Still pretty sinister stuff.
Doesn't necessarily have to be against a person though.
Well, this is all a bit strange, isn't it? I'd suggest you don't really go telling this to our more goodly members of our party. They may not understand. I suppose two things. There's a lot at stake here. We don't want to have any complications while we're in the city. And how long have you got to complete this act?
About a few days, and I'll need to do it before. The eight bells ring in about a few days.
That's a coincidence.
Well, Yeah, if I don't do it before then, I'm unsure of when opportunity, as such as a big city as Jebi Retana, might come as an option again, where I can blend in and go unnoticed.
What do you mean by that?
Well, a big city is easy to carry out an act as opposed to and then blend into the crowd, as opposed to who knows where we may be in a small town or a no town.
So, is this your own compulsion or purely because your lady wishes it?
This is what I have signed up for.
I see.
Mr. Dina was very good to me.
No doubt. But you have no idea of what may befall you if you didn't take it out to take this.
No,
So
no.
you're part of a wider group where this must happen quite a bit.
Yes.
And what's happened to other people when they've not done their master's bidding?
Jim, I'm not sure if Askel had. I assume he would have heard stories or been aware of those that have not kept their promise.
You just didn't see them around again.
Right. So there's your answer. Well, here's the thing.
That could be because they were just simply picked out. That could be all manner of things.
Think the worst. Believe it. Well, you sounds like you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. She did. She saved my life. She pulled me out of the gutters of Shabibi.
Well, look, I'm not exactly a moralistic person, as you know. And right now, all that matters is that we get to where we need to go to save this whole wretched society from collapse, right?
Yes.
So you go and do what you need to do, because what we don't need is any complications right now. That'll be my advice.
No. She is very powerful, though.
Well, if you do your bidding, that will keep her happy, right?
Yep.
And can this mistress be of use to us?
Well, she already has.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of transportation, getting people around, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say after my meeting, we wouldn't want to go back to that well again.
Back to the what?
We wouldn't want to go back to the well once too often. Once was enough.
Right. So no more
Call in a
favors.
favour. Yeah.
No.
Let's not call in a favour.
Right.
Again.
So it sounds to me like you've got a job to do then.
Yes. It has been for Askel, for myself, a very since meeting the party a month ago at that dinner party. I've seen a lot, and a lot's happened. The in between has changed my thinking, or questioned my previous blind allegiance to Tina.
That may be true, but probably now is not the time for any complications for our party, is it?
Yes.
we have some very influential people coming here to question our suitability.
Yeah. Hmm.
So to have your mistress's agents descend upon us would be complicated.
Yeah. On one hand, it's easy to resolve.
Well, that's what I mean. I suggest you go a long way from here and do what you need to resolve it and come back.
Yeah. Askel would nod and agree. And it'd be yes. Perhaps I do.
Perhaps you do. And look, let's have a chat about this further down the road. But I'll keep this to myself for now because you need to think of why this person. You had an argument with this person, and a convincing story for the party in the meantime. Because, as I say, there are bigger things afoot here than this.
I said, don't worry about that fool. He's nothing.
Well, I'm not worried about him. I'm just, all of us now have seen you argue with him. Why were you arguing with him?
No, not all of you have seen correction from the GM. Only Tanya
Nick.
has.
Oh, okay. Not Nicholas.
No, Nicholas. Everybody else went upstairs.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just leave it there then, shall we?
Yeah. Askel would just say, Faisal was just a rat. He's nothing.
No doubt. But, he's a rat that may bring bigger rodents. So why don't you do what you need to do, but go a long way from here to do it. And you watch you're not followed, and you come back when you're done. And maybe we could talk about this further when we're in a better situation to deal with it.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had my son trying to talk.
It's inconvenient when you're planning a murder, isn't it?
I don't go that extreme.
Whatever he needs to do, drink his blood. I don't know. Anyway,
talking about spilt milk.
Anyway, yes, that I guess 10 years. Just she's acutely aware of the situation that they're in at the moment. Probably under observation. Would suggest wherever he goes, if he's able to make himself invisible, he does that, and goes a long way from here, but doesn't bring his mistress's emissaries to this place to complicate matters further. Is Askel in agreement with that, or?
Yeah. I think what I need to do is we all turn in for the night.
So what exactly must you do?
Yeah. I have levels of what I need to do, and I may take not the easy option, not the extreme option, probably somewhere in between. If I take an easy option, I think I'll get challenged on that.
And how do they know what you've done or haven't done?
Yeah. My mistress Dina is a very powerful mentalist.
Okay, so she reads your mind?
I'm not sure. But she just knows stuff. And she knows how to find out stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if Pfizer was not the only one who of the seekers that turned up. There could be more watching us right now.
Quite possibly. And here's the thing: we don't really want anyone taking an interest in us, do we? So best you do what you want to do, keep them happy, we move on.
Yeah. I think should retire to our rooms.
Sure.
I think yeah, we'll close to the rooms, and I'll close the door, and then you'll see me in the morning.
Okay. Excellent. What a great bit of role playing. I'm going to say, both of you, thank you. As a GM, that's just great. Being able to sit back and let your players carry the story with no interference from the GM. That's brilliant. Love it. Thank you. A practical question for you in terms of actions, Askel. There is a point in tonight's story I'd really like to meet, if I can. Yeah, a question. Does Askel do anything tonight, the Eve of Cold Moons? It's probably a question.
So yeah, I guess that was alluding to what I was saying. Like, Askel would go back to his room, close the doors, and then he'd be looking at heading out in the night.
Okay.
Stealthily.
Okay. So, how to this?
So
Yeah.
I can caveat that if this doesn't work into where we need to go,
Yep.
he can do it tomorrow night.
The Night of Cold Moons. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Maybe could you and I have an offline chat about what you're planning to do, and perhaps we could do it promptly. Have a prompt session. Resolve it quickly now. If Pete and sorry, let me just check. Would people be okay playing on until 10:30 tonight?
Yep.
Graham?
Yep.
Would we do that?
I probably need to go.
Okay.
10, yeah.
At 10. All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to finish off what you need to do, that's fine.
Yes.
And then we can, we can always catch up.
Yeah. Maybe.
Because you don't want to get this out of order, do you?
No, and actually, what happens with Askel could have extremely serious implications on the rest of the game. So, no pressure, Askel.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'm just going up to sleep.
Although there is a question of what Tenny does, of course.
Well, what does Tenny do?
Well, I mean, she's obviously a bit concerned about this. So, trying to remember, is she aware of if Nicholas has even got such a spell? So, is she aware of Nicholas's?
Sorry, I'm gonna pause. We've got 20 minutes because.
All right.
Yes. Sorry. If Anthony, you're wanting to head away at 10, is there anything desperate that Tanya does this evening? Is probably the question that I need to know.
Well, she was considering following him.
Okay.
But to do so, she'd want to be invisible.
Okay.
And I can't remember if we've had any evidence of Nicholas's ability being able to make him invisible or not, whether she knows that or not.
You absolutely have. You know that he can. For example, in the graveyard, he was invisible a lot of the time there.
So I think Tanya would approach Nicholas and say that she wasn't sure about that person, and
now you've got to be sorry to jump in. You've just had a You've heard the players and the GM have a conversation. Honest to God, would she do this in character? Your call, not mine.
What I would have thought. Well, would you think so?
Uh,
Yeah, she's a bit concerned about this all going belly up, to be honest.
Sure, but you've got no idea what Askel's got planned for tonight. That's probably my point. Is where I'm getting
I
to.
think she's got a pretty good idea. I would say.
Really?
Wouldn't you?
Based
Well, it
on-
sounds like he's got to go off and or maim or murder or do something this evening.
But
based on
this evening, did you?
Well, in the
pick that up?
next two days, right? He knows it's got to do it either tonight or the next night.
You're cool. You're cool.
Well, I would have thought well, here's my thinking. She's not going to stop him because she sees that it can complicate things more. What she doesn't want to do is something calamity to happen to him while he's out.
Yep.
So her thinking is if she can make herself invisible on the premise of keeping an eye out for the chap who Nicholas has just seen and keeps an eye out, she wants to stalk around, she could take her bow, remain invisible, and go out onto the streets and follow Askel.
Okay.
And if he gets into trouble, she's no intention of doing anything, but if she sees if he gets into trouble, he's got some backup.
Okay, cool. So we've got 15 minutes to resolve this somehow. I'm not quite sure how to do that.
So Askel's got to put a dress on. On details.
Hang on, yeah, quite. Pete, as a suggestion, I'm sorry, this next 15 minutes won't involve your characters other than you turning Tanya invisible. Can you duly do so, please?
Yep.
And it doesn't take any other actions himself. That's probably a question.
Well, look, no. I'm sure he would have questioned when they came in.
Yep.
Who was that?
Yep.
Got a fob-off answer from Askel.
Yep.
Tanya asked him for this. He knows Tanya more, and he knows that, and she'll explain her good intentions. Happy to cast it. 4 rounds prep, 47. So I think that's a success.
Success. Tanya, you're now invisible. Pete, realistically,
I can go offline. Yeah. Or...
Yeah. I mean, jump in chat room 1, please. I'll or we just call it. That's you for tonight.
Well, I've got my phone on me. Give me a text if you need me.
Yeah, cool. All right. So, fair to say, we did not achieve everything I wanted to get done tonight. We definitely need to play on the 4th. And, God, at this rate, maybe another session. 2 more sessions before we meet in person. I'll have a think about
What
time.
happened last time?
Sorry?
That's what happened last time. 8-9 months later, we're still doing that 1 week.
Yes, quite.
Trying to get there. Yeah.
Don't remind me.
Cool. Okay. I would.
Thanks, Pete. Yes, great.
I'll jump off now. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete. All right. Okay. Let's see what happens. Tanya, you're now invisible. Preparations of what you do, please, other than being invisible.
She'll take a short sword. She'll take a bow. She'll take her belongings essentially, with her quiver and arrows and all the rest of it. And she only has to sleep half what everyone else has to sleep anyway.
Yep.
So she'll just wait outside in the living quarters by his door, and if he comes out, she will attempt to follow him undetected.
Okay, done. Askel, talk me through your plans, please.
Right. We should probably go to a chat room.
Okay, cool.
He's going out the window.
He's going out the window.
Just the mystique otherwise.
We will go to chat room 1. Go for it. Speak to you then in a sec. All right.
Askel's plan was, go to his room, he shut the door, and go like he's gone to bed. He wanted to change into his old tatty clothes. Then he wanted to cast fly I think it's fly 1.
Hmm.
What he wanted to do was get a bit of distance very quickly. I know it's fly 2. So it can be 75 feet at around. So you want to just get a bit of distance, like wait till it's a bit dark.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, flying at night is a little bit risky.
Yep.
But he'll, familiar with that. Not too many tall buildings,
Mm-hmm.
and there's enough probably street lights as well. But yeah, so his idea was to just fly a reasonable distance away.
So how's he getting? He's just going to the window and flying out the window, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do a Peter Pan.
Okay, cool. Give me your options for the spell.
Yep. So he would have done all the prep. He's not wearing his armor.
Okay. What equipment is he taking with him, please?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's he going to take with him? So, he's not going to go and hurt anyone per se directly, but looking at the things was a bit of vandalism. So he's thinking of setting fire to something.
Okay.
In a far part of the city.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's got a tinderbox.
Okay.
So he can travel quite lightly.
Other than a tinderbox, anything else he's taking?
Well, he'll need it. He's got a torch as well, so he'll jam that in his belt. He will take his cutlass.
Okay.
Just in case.
Yes.
Because he'll have to land. Yeah, but yeah, he intends to. Yeah. If his clothes had like a hoodie type thing, that would be kind of useful. Yeah, a little bit incognito-ish as much as he can.
I don't know. What has he got?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a hooded cloak.
Okay. What's on the hooded cloak?
Yeah.
Cool.
Give
me a roll for the spell, please.
Yeah, I think that's all he needs. Around 8. All that prep.
8. With prep, you're fine. It only fails on a 1 or a 2. Spell successful.
Right.
He heads out the window. Flies roughly how far?
Gosh. So if he can move 75 feet per round, so every 10 seconds, you want to put a reasonable distance away.
And you wait until it's night, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Just because that, noting that how some people react thinking there was magic going on, that some would probably freak out with a flying man, and darkness will hide him a bit. Oh gosh. 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. Yeah, I guess however far he can get.
Okay. So he's flying quite some way. He's flying the length of his spell, basically. Is that right?
Yeah. It's enough to obviously spot a reasonable place to come down and land.
Okay.
In the back of not in the main sort of street area, but obviously a side alleyway, so we can reasonably inconspicuously.
Got it. So, as mentioned earlier on in this game, you know the city pretty well. Does he have and you've seen it pretty well. You've been here 11 days. What kind of area is he aiming for?
So, it's just popped in my head. So he would have been aiming to go near the markets and some of the stores that we had visited.
Yeah.
And not obviously the well-to-do stores, but I guess whether we might have seen some clothing or whatever, someone with wares, that's probably one of the stalls we would have just walked past and would have, in my mind, I would have done that.
Okay. So
I would probably spit on you. Yeah.
So certainly, during a normal night, there'll be stuff open. This is the city that kind of never sleeps. This is the eve of cold moons, and people locking and barring their doors. Stuff is inside. Stock is away. The streets are not completely empty. There are a few people hurrying home, you assume, looking nervous. Shops aren't open. Definitely not. People have shut up shop. There's no one around. I'm going to head back in and have a word to Graham. Back in a sec. You can muse for a minute. Back in a sec.
Yep.
Oh, where is Graham? Gone. Oh, no, he's back in the nose of the main chat. Back in a second. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, Tanya, you're waiting downstairs.
Oh, outside his door, our little
outside his
area.
door. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep, you hear him moving around, and occasional clink, etc. of stuff inside his room. And yeah, and then goes quiet.
Okay. I mean, she'll hang on. She'd like to get a 4-hour sleep.
Okay.
So I guess she's suspicious because she doesn't want him to. I guess he's got a habit of putting his foot in it. So
you are on camera saying that, by the way.
Oh, no. I mean, we've had a few. I'm talking from Tanya's perspective.
Yep.
That he's gone off and things have happened. I say, but she'll wait until nothing happens. Then she'll take herself back to her room. If nothing happens in 4 hours, then she'll take herself off.
Okay.
Otherwise, she'll just busy herself, just sitting down, waiting.
Okay. So she's
staring at the fire.
Certainly waits. Certainly waits let's say probably an hour at least, and I'll come back to you on that. I'll head back to Askel.
Okay.
There's been no sound from his room, by the way.
Okay.
Right. Hello, Ian.
Hello.
There we go. It's the sound of an empty street. So there we go. Occasional voices in the market, maybe. Anyway, quiet streets. I don't have quite a quiet streets on hand, so actually there's definitely a few more people around than it may sound. So yeah, definitely nothing's open. Where does Askel go?
Askel will be wanting to try and find something, an opportunity to set something on fire.
Sure.
Like to burn a stall or something, where it could not be picked up until quite late. Like it'll be the fire's really taken off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess he'd be looking for opportunities. So, anything someone has been a bit too casual. I know because of the evening and people are a bit panicked, but be looking at anyone who's just a bit too, hasn't taken it as quite as cautious as they should have.
Okay. So people have, as I say, packed up portable stalls. So they've, for example, the guy, tragically, the guy that you saw murdered today, stabbed, had like a sticks and a tent basically over the top. You're looking for something a bit more, I want to hear a bit more, kind of what you're after, and I can figure out what might be around.
So you'd be looking for, what's flammable? Is it clothing? Is it,
okay,
bookstores? Even trinkets and what have you. Assuming it's been raining in Jebi Retana
today, if you remember, was a beautiful day. That was one of the reasons you went out to you went to the painted house. So no, it's been a gorgeous day all day. It's quite dry.
Right. Yeah, just look. Yes, there might be like ornaments and artifacts type shop.
Okay.
There's a lot of wood type stuff. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a firebug sort of concept in his head. I'll find somewhere that will go up quickly, easily.
Yep.
And then he'll get the heck out of there.
Okay. Give me a roll, please.
Yeah. So just looking for opportunities.
Yep. Sure.
And it doesn't have to be in the first 5 minutes.
No. Sure. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, you rolled a 65.
5. Just a second. Okay. So, in the first, so he's landed. I'm assuming, and he's now kind of wandering around.
Yeah. He
Brilliant.
was talking around.
Oh, okay. So in that first, in the first half an hour, no. I mean, he sees, lots of stone buildings, lots of stuff that you'd probably need some oil or something to get going. That's not what you've described. For the next half an hour, give me a roll, please.
All right. 77.
7. Again, 77. No, again, no luck. No luck there, I'm sorry. Try again, please. Right.
88.
88.
Slowly getting higher.
Yep.
60s, 70s, 80s.
So you're looking for, you're looking for something kind of out of the way, discreet. Yeah, one last roll, please. You've been looking for about an hour and a half, and each time you've kind of maybe seen a possible opportunity. There's been too many people around, or it's in the wrong place, or you're a bit unconcerned if it'll go up. Try going on now for 2 hours for you being out, please.
$47.
47. It's now getting very empty at night, and you are definitely, people are kind of looking at you walking around. No, very few people are on the streets. Again, just nothing you can see. Give me another try, please. Rolling.
89.
Still nothing. 3 hours. There's pretty much just Askel on the streets at the moment. Roll again.
Oops. Right. No, 80.
Okay. Goodness me, Askel has some amazing luck sometimes. Where are these rolls previously? It's getting late. Give me another roll, please.
Let's see. Yeah, other options. No, 38.
38. That'll do it. That'll do me very nicely. Thank you. Give me a no. That was what I wanted. I wanted it under 40. Thank you. But it's now 6 p.m. It's now kind of 9:30, going on for 10 o'clock. It's very late. There are very few other people on the streets. You do definitely stand out. Give me another roll, please, to see what you find.
10.
10. Okay. Not quite what I'm after. Again, please. This will just see. I found something. I just need to find out what it is.
81.
81. That could do us. Yeah. So you've walked your way quite a long way away. Actually, you haven't spent a lot of time in this part of town. Down towards some of the docks, down towards Dragon Bay, and you come across a row of pretty decrepit-looking fish merchants. So these would be people that would be down close to the docks, getting the first catch of the day. Pretty flimsy wooden structures. They stink. They absolutely reek of fish. Not surprisingly, and you find an alleyway. Well, not an alleyway really, but yeah, I guess an alleyway between a couple of. There are about 4 or 5 of these kind of ramshackle shacks, I guess, built pretty haphazardly down near the docks. There are proper shops further around, but there's this kind of open area by the docks, and a number of these shacks are there, lower end fish merchants. You're in luck. You find, firstly, the fact that they're wooden. It's reasonably dry, and you manage to find some kind of straw, which is reasonably, which you think might be able to do for some kindling, and some other small pieces of wood, etc. There have been a few people around, so there are a few sailors, perhaps foreigners, dotted around. Not a lot, but perhaps people that don't take cold moons quite as seriously as you do. But you're reasonably out of view at the moment. You think you would once assuming you want to try for this location, you would need to then cross open ground, and there's a chance that somebody might see you crossing open ground to then get back into taller buildings and then kind of back into the alleyways. So, do you want me to draw you out a map? Would that be handy, or are you? Yeah. Look, let's. Yeah, you think it's as good a place as any. It's the first place you found in kind of nearly 4 hours of searching. There'd be there'd be probably about 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds perhaps, that you'd have to cross open ground to then get back into the alleyways of brick buildings. There aren't a lot of other people around.
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
All right. Give me. I normally don't roll for something as trivial as making a fire. Askel's done this thousands of times in his life. But just give me a roll, please, because it's a bit of a tense situation. This is an agility check.
Oh. You got a 7.
Goodness me, what happened to his luck?
All that searching and finding nothing.
Yes, indeed. So it's it's a routine maneuver for Askel. 7 plus his agility of
8.
8. You've got an 80% chance, 80 or under, to get using your flint and tinder in your tinderbox to get a small fire going in this straw.
Well, of course he rolled at 100.
Oh, God.
As soon as you said 80 and under, I was like, oh, you've just jinxed it now.
What is with your luck? Okay.
He's got real sweaty hands.
He does. That's it. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so let's just see. Okay, so he hears some voices, but they're some way off. No one's close. Give me another try, please.
It's like, come on, calm it down.
Yeah. Be calm, Askel. Be calm.
68.
68 plus 8. 100% success. So he kind of steels himself, and actually the voices are further away, and within 30 seconds, 40 seconds or so, there's quite a good little blaze going. It's propped up on the side of one of the shacks. The shacks are close enough together. You think that with enough flame, more than one might go up. The fire's going. It's not immediately going to stop. You think it's going to keep burning at least for a bit. It's round the corner enough, or it's hidden by a couple of barrels that you've set it in a location that it'll probably burn quite a bit, and no one else will necessarily be able to spot it.
Yep.
What does he do now?
He'd be looking to see, is that enough in that one spot? Is there another spot he can also set alight?
He thinks probably that'll do it. There's enough straw there, the enough kind of dry material. He's found some bits of wood, an old crate, etc. He's fed the flames a bit. It looks like it's about to catch.
Right.
He thinks.
In that case, Askel would prepare spells.
Okay.
Yep. He's the intent. He's going to cast Fly 2 again.
Okay, cool. Okay. He prepares for how long?
At least to get him to 0. So 2 rounds.
2 rounds, sure. 2 rounds. M.E.R.P, please.
53.
53. That spell is successful.
Right. So he would probably go up into the air, above and into the darkness, so to speak, and just watched to see that it's how it's doing.
Okay.
The fire, is it taking off or not taking off?
Yep. Sure. Okay. Cool. All right. What I'd like you to do, Askel, is just roll a simple roll. This is a pure dumb luck roll. So this is just before you roll it. This is just to see. Don't roll it yet. Don't roll it yet. So this is just, frankly, to see. This is a percentage chance of there being somebody around that could have seen you fly up from your alleyway. I'm going to rate it. It's the night of the cold moons. You're down at the docks. It's reasonably quiet as described, and the voices that you heard. I think there is a 17% chance that somebody spots you. If there's any night of the year that people are going to be at home in their beds by this time, it's this night. So I'm going to say a 20% chance. If you roll under 20, you could have a problem. If you roll above 20, you're fine. Give me a roll, please.
All right. Here we go. 28.
So you fly up, you look around, you don't think you've been spotted. You go up. How far up do you go?
We probably only need to go up 20, 30 meters.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So
so he could watch it, and once he, I guess what he'll be doing is once he realizes it'll be taking off, then he will pull out his greenstone.
Okay, excellent. So let's just see if it does take off. Pretty well set. Yeah, it's away. It's blazing. And it goes up pretty quickly. Pretty dry in the last day. Well, certainly today. And it's been enough to dry out the timber. And within a very short period of time, this stinking shack and the one next to it start absolutely roaring with flame. Completely destroyed. Well, it looks like they're going to be completely destroyed.
Right. it'll be at that point. Askel will hold the greenstone to his head and say, "Mistress, I remain true."
Nice.
Pause.
Okay.
Greenstone back in his pocket, and then roughly figure out where he gets to head back to his room and just go and the fly spell.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he has no care for what's happening below. He's just
Cool.
he's out of there.
Right. So the fly spell is not enough to get him all the way back to the Grand Bazaar. He would need to walk at least some of the distance and then do something once he's closer.
Yeah, he would just cast fly one. Whatever he needs to get the final bit, because he flew out the window. He needs to go back in the room window, so he'd do it again. He's got the PowerPoint multiplier now as well, so he's got more PowerPoints.
So let's say, for argument's sake, it takes some let's say 4 fly spells. Can you give me 4 rolls? And I'm interested in no failures, please. So no 1s or 2s.
First one 83.
Yep.
Oops. And then the last one 4.
Oh, that's close, but it's not a 1 or a 2. You're fine. The perfect crime, Askel. On Cold Moon's Eve, you make it back. It's quite late by the time you get back.
Yeah.
It would be easily probably 11:30, going off at 12. You fly in the window, and
get changed, clean up.
Yep.
Wash.
Very lucky.
Rubbing your hands.
Okay.
Clean up, bed, tuck clothes, dirty clothes, back away.
Very, very good. Can you hold for just 2 ticks? I'm just going to say something to Graham, and then I'll ask you to come and join the main chat.
Sounds good.
Cool. Hello, Tanya.
Hello.
Hello. So, regret to say, 4 hours go past and no sign of Askel. Can't hear him. Doesn't appear. Nothing.
All right, we'll go to bed.
Cool. Alrighty?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I might actually go to bed, actually.
Yeah, and just hold. I'm just going to bring Askel back in, and then we're going to wrap up for the night.
Okay.
Hello. Come and join us in chat room 1, please.
Okay.
There we go, gentlemen. We will leave it there for tonight. Hope you both enjoyed the game.
Yeah.
And some excellent role playing by you both.
Yeah.
I think Severin would. I mean, I think. I think Askel should take Sophocles for sure.
There you go. Well deserved. Cool. There we go, guys. Leave it there for tonight. As I say, we definitely now need 1 more session, maybe 2 more sessions, but certainly 1 more session between now and when we play in person. But let's leave tonight's session there, and I'll be back with you in slower time.
Sure. I mean, if you need to do any fast forwarding, Chris, that's all good.
No, I will do.
Yeah.
Cool.